Well, Matthew, it's nice to spend some time with you today. Having lots of different discussions with superintendents around some very sort of big picture challenges and exciting trends in education. And I'd be curious to know in Ohio your perspective on budgeting and some of the new and innovative ways districts are looking at incorporating corporate America, the private sector, to offset some of the budget shortfalls that a lot of districts are experiencing, as we sort of take down that wall of church and state and understanding that we can actually actively engage our communities and private sector to support what we're doing at the local school community. How do you see that?
Well, first and foremost, I am very fortunate to be in a district with many resources, so it puts me in an advantage point in many areas of what you're referring to, but the budget is always an area of concern. So while I proudly serve an affluent district largely, they are very fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible. And because of my serving in an affluent district, the state aid or state support that I receive is proportional to the wealth in the district. So I receive fewer state resources to offset my operating budget, which means that it's largely coming from the property taxes within the district or the area or the borders of the district I serve. So when I'm trying to offset my budget, we try to make fiscal decisions that make sense, but are always lined up to what's best for kids. And sometimes that's a balancing act to try to figure out how to meet the needs of our students, to meet the needs of our community, while still living within our means. So that's where, when I can't fund it through the operating budget, where I'll go seek outside sources to help partner to provide innovative instructional initiatives that maybe I'm working on. So for example, right now we are working on new buildings for my district, and there's X amount of money that is generated by a bond referendum. Well, we're really fortunate that we have people in the community or companies in the community that want to partner with us to do things that are outside of the scope of that master's plan or that master facilities plan to offer even more to our students. That's a pretty unique situation, and we're very fortunate.
An enviable position to be in, for sure.
It is, but you have to, I don't know that was always the case in this district. I think I've really focused as an educational leader to develop partnerships, which really hones in on relationships. And those relationships are built by effective communication, transparency. It's almost familial in a way where you are getting to know people, and then you can pick up the phone and call and say, I need this help. I want to do this exciting thing for kids, and I want to know if you can get behind me.
And you're getting a response on the other end of the call.
I am.
Yeah.
It's wonderful because people are excited. People want to get involved in education. Right now, I think from a national standpoint, education is maybe looked through at a negative lens. I'm not seeing that at the local level. I have a community that is very much in support of education. They know the education we're offering is wonderful, and they are helping me go above and beyond to push the envelope and to take us to the next level.
Given the resources that you have at your disposal in your district, I'd be curious as to the way in which you look at technology purchasing decisions. There are a lot of districts, Matthew, that may not have the same resources or access to resources, and so when they're making a technology decision or purchase, it may or may not personalize in that specific technology to the younger grades, or it's something that maybe is driven more to the higher grades, but we have to let it into the K through 8. How do you look at personalizing the technology decisions you make for the experience at a personalized level for the student?
We've been talking about technology. When I came into the district 2 years ago, there wasn't a technology plan. It was kind of haphazard in how they were investing in technology. Best of intentions, had some things going, but there wasn't a cohesiveness. So the board charged me with coming up with a plan that was created by stakeholders that we could follow through over the course of several years to really see how those technology investments impacted the instructional effectiveness and how those concepts were married. So I formed a committee of about, I'm going to say 15 folks, cross-section of the district, and we also had community involvement and Board of Education involvement. We went through the Future Ready Framework, which is a national program through the Office of Educational Technology, and we spent the better part of a year developing a plan. So while we do have resources, don't forget that I told you that I'm the community is very fiscally conservative, and I really appreciate that, because you want those resources to go as far as they possibly can. But I am proud to say that in a year and a half's time, we are now K-12 one-to-one. So that looks like we have iPads for kindergartners, we have Chromebooks for grades 1 through 6, and then MacBook Airs from grades 7 through 12. The reason we have an amalgamation of devices is because we had Chromebooks already in the district, and those Chromebooks came from donations and from some general fund purchases, and they still had a lifespan. So I had a hard time saying, well, let's just go
there's a responsibility you take in your position to make a good decision with what technology you already have.
Very much so, because I want to make sure that those people who invested in the district aren't saying, well, we wanted to be one-to-one K-12, but it had to be the same device or uniform platform, and therefore we would discard those resources. And we were not going to do that, because we really value, back to the first question, those partnerships that we have. And we have teachers that are very excited and can really integrate into whichever platform they're using.
Given the engagement that you have, which it sounds like is embedded in the community, which is a very positive thing, I'd be interested to know how you've looked at student ownership of learning and the documenting of that, and then communicating that out to parents and families and the community to support engagement of the student, while then monitoring to make sure that, from an instructional level, that you are meeting some of the marks that you have as a district. How are you looking at that, and have you empowered technology to help you support in that communication effort?
So that's a very big question, and there's multi-levels to that, but I will tell you it starts with the strategic plan. And the strategic plan that we have encompasses these technology initiatives as well as many other initiatives. And monitoring the effectiveness of that plan is crucial to see if you're getting a return on the investment. Within our technology plan, which lives in the strategic plan, and I'm sorry, there's a lot of plans, but we're really looking at foresight to see where we want to go, and then targeting those steps to see if we actually got there. So we have a North Star, so to speak. The technology plan has measurements to see how effective we are in using those technologies, and we are taking artifacts from students through those devices. We're trying to harvest how much they're being used, in what way they're being used. Is it really impacting the instruction in a positive way? If so, how? And all that, when you marry the concept of you don't want so much screen time that's a negative return. So how are they using it in a way to really take the students to new heights, but not then hinder their performance in other areas? And that is really tricky, because parents don't want, nor do I. So I'm a parent of the district, 4 children myself, and I don't want to walk in every classroom and see students on the devices all the time. Every class. I want them to use it as a tool, but that's not the instruction. Those teachers up there, those are the people who are really crafting the curriculum. They're the ones that are facilitating it and making it meaningful for our students. The technology is a tool.
Yeah, it's a three-dimensional experience for both student and teacher. Let's close with this, Matthew. How has the role of superintendent changed from your seat as you've evolved in your professional career, when you think about just the ways in which you perceived the superintendent position prior to your role, and then how you perceive of it moving forward?
So I'm at a unique vantage point, because this is my 4th year as a superintendent, and I started at a very young point in my career. So I don't have the history to know how the superintendency was viewed previously to my own tenure. I will tell you that it continues to evolve, and it depends on the lens in which the leader is looking through the events. I really believe in servant leadership, and I believe that I have to be in and active and learning with the community to ensure that we are going in the direction that the stakeholders have told me are important. So I am just a conduit for what the stakeholders have told me are important, and I try to guide them through the principles that they have distilled are crucial for their success. And it's a partnership, and it's nonstop. It's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and you have to try to preserve yourself while still proudly serving the people that you have the privilege to work with.
Yeah, and it sounds like getting out of your own office in that way and spending time within the district, right? So you see the everyday, learning that's going on, so that you...
And that's a challenge, because it's an office job many times of the day, so you have to pull yourself away and lean on people that can do their job and let them soar in their own way, so you can try to be, you can give all of yourself to the things that are really important. So I come most alive when I'm in the classroom. And whenever I feel downtrodden, I know I need to go into a classroom, because then that recalibrates myself to realize why I'm here. So when I see those students learning, when I see them engaged, when you're walking down an elementary hallway and kids are giving you hugs and high fives, you know that what you're doing is really important and it's meaningful for the future of those students.